Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Paws and Claws run. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to be trying out another character that I think benefits quite a bit from the addition of pets, the Vagabond. Because the Vagabond gets the full set bonus of all of their weapons, regardless of how many they have, they end up with a lot of free stats, but are necessarily restricted to a pretty eclectic weapon set, which can often mean that can get you in trouble. The pets can mitigate that because they'll act as sort of additional weapons for the Vagabond, and also they'll benefit from a lot of the free stats that we get from our weapon set. So we benefit, I think, both from the fact that the pets will help supplement our poor weapon set, and because the pets themselves will be stronger than for a normal character. Also, I just really enjoy the Vagabond, so I wanted to play it. I'm picking up loot as my first weapon because the musical and support tags are obviously really nice weapon tags. Getting one loot will get us the full benefit of those. Although we only get 50% of the... we only buy harvesting and luck at 50%, so the benefits will be halved. Getting 10 harvesting and 10 luck for free is still really good. Here I'm going to just take 2 melee damage. We're typically going to want to build a lot of melee damage, so that's going to be very important for this character. I usually like to base my weapons and what tags we have on a couple things. There's a couple weapon tags that we're really looking for. We need to mitigate this -5 armor. So we're looking for anything that gives armor, most notably the blunt weapon tag gives armor, so a rock or something like that will be good, and the medieval tag gives armor. We also want ethereal and unarmed at some point, because that between those two and the medieval tag, you get 51% dodge, which then -5% is still 46%, so you get almost a full dodge just from your weapons. I will start by buying this torch, though, and we'll upgrade our loot here. Torch gives us the primitive weapon tag right away. It's not the most important to get early, but it is a very nice weapon tag. I'll leave these two in the pool. Actually, I'm just going to ban the Terrified Onion because it's such a weak item. But I'll leave Plant in the pool because we're definitely going to want it later. But I will typically prefer to get better economy items early. The Cacti Club is also good. It gives us the heavy weapon tag and the primitive weapon tag, so I could pick that up to get heavy weapons, and I think I will. Just making sure that we've got good weapons on offer is going to be really good. And then Spiky Shield gives us medieval and blunt. Scissors gives us medical and precise. So 2 really nice weapons and weapon tags that we don't have, so we'll definitely pick both of those up. And because we'll have 5 different weapons, we'll be getting the benefits of all of those weapon classes as though we had a full set of 5 of them. This is a fairly low damage setup currently. We'll definitely need to fix that. I also really need to kill this gobbler, there we go, before it eats all our materials. I wanted to kill the tree. I probably shouldn't have run off after the tree. There was just no chance we were going to get it there. Even at half value, I'll just pick the harvesting here rather than do a bunch of re-rolling. Jelly is super efficient on this character, of course, because we're always going to have 6 different weapons, so we're going to go ahead and buy the jelly. Or lock the jelly. Then we'll buy these 2, and that gives us 4 regen. It gives us 12 crit chance, so we're very happy there. I'll roll again, lock a scar. Torch we probably won't stick with forever. We have Cacti Club as our primitive weapon, so we're likely to want to remove Torch. And Elemental is an okay weapon tag, but not amazing. We're looking for something like a Claw that can give us unarmed and any ethereal weapon. So I'm going to reroll here, and yeah, we'll take Claw. That gives us unarmed. It gives us a redundant precise with the scissors, but we'll be able to maybe swap scissors out for something else now. A different medical weapon or forego medical weapons if we get enough regeneration. I really like the puzzle of putting together all of the weapon classes for the Vagabond. And you get a huge benefit from doing so, so it's just a really fun character for me. Currently, we still have fairly low armor. We're going to need to fix that, because you start with negative armor. We will also be losing a bunch of armor, because we'll want the ethereal weapon tag eventually. So I'm just going to take 1 armor here. This I'm going to re-roll. This is just not very exciting, and we're going to have even more max HP, so I don't really need to buy max HP here, so I'm just going to roll again, and I'll just take another armor. We'll take Claw. That gets me a bunch of dodge, so we're up to 16% dodge. We'll buy both of these. Taser gives us support and elemental, but that's not that exciting. I could upgrade our torch, though I do intend to sell out of the torch at some point, so I think I'm just going to pass on that. And I'll do a couple more rerolls here. Quarterstaff gives us primitive and medieval, which is interesting. But we've already got primitive from Cacti Club, which also is giving us heavy, which is a really nice one. Just the percent damage is really powerful. Medieval we have from Spiky Shield, which isn't the best way to get medieval, but is still okay, I think. I'm just going to reroll and we'll lock a Lost Duck. The reason I'm not that excited about upgrading the torch is that it's the weapon that we're going to sell if we get any ethereal weapon showing up in the shop. So I don't want to spend money on it, but we do want to have it for now because it's currently giving us +1 to all of our other weapon tags, since the value that you get from that is based on the total number of weapons that you have. We do have minus speed from the blunt weapon tag, so I do want to fix that. That's why it was hard for us to kill that curse alien, because I just wasn't fast enough to get it. But here I'm just going to take 10 attack speed. Attack speed is really important for this character. And then let me do a reroll and another reroll. Okay, I'm going to reroll again. I was really hoping to get something good that was level 2 or higher, but we'll just take 2 regeneration. I'm not going to buy harvesting in the shop usually. And actually, maybe I shouldn't even buy the Lost Duck because it's only worth 4 luck. I kind of locked that on autopilot, but I think it's okay to pick that up. Because we buy it at half value. Let's roll here. How much do I want? 15 luck on the Lucky Charm. I think for 109, that's not worth it. We're going to pick up 30 more dodge from the ethereal weapon tag. So I will buy Feather because dodge is going to be really valuable for us. So even the 3% dodge for very cheap is good. The ranged damage is also not amazing, but not totally irrelevant. When we have a Cacti Club, it can increase the thorn damage a little bit. That's a very narrow or very minor consideration, but it is real. But what we're really looking for, of course, is some pets, we want some move speed, and we want an ethereal weapon so that we can actually get the full value of being the Vagabond. One of the great things about this character is you just end up with a ton of dodge for very, very cheap, so that's always awesome. I will take 5 luck here. Luck is still good. We'll upgrade our Spiky Shield. We'll buy both of these. We'll re-roll. I'll definitely take more XP gain, and I'll upgrade the Scissors. Scissors are, it's possible that Scissors will stick around, and we'll take a Black Belt as well. I'm going to probably ban mostly level 2 items, by the way, so if you've noticed that I haven't really been banning, we're going to ban level 2 items in order to make pets more likely to appear. I need to kill that before the fire from our torch does, because if the burning damage kills it, it'll explode, but if our melee attacks kill it, it won't. So we're trying to make sure that we kill the pufferfish with our actual weapon attacks. For this character, of course, your economy is typically going to be a little worse because you buy harvesting at half value, so you can't use a lot of the economy tools that other characters are using. But to make up for that, you just get tons of free stats from the weapon tags. We'll take some movement speed here and some more regeneration, and then I'm going to buy this entire shop and take a reroll. We will, again, hopefully at least, end up with a lot of dodge, so adrenaline is going to be pretty nice in terms of healing. And we'll take defective steroids as well. So right now, still looking for an ethereal weapon to show up. Of course, it's also very possible that I've rolled past one or something. With the Vagabond, it can be somewhat easy to lose to miss weapons that you should be buying, because almost any weapon in the shop could be relevant, and spending time paying attention to all of them isn't what you usually do in most runs, so the habit isn't there to look closely at every weapon. And kill that cursed healer if possible as well. Though it's running too much away from the center of the map, so it makes it a little harder to go after it. We'll get that tree kill, though, and we're making decent money every wave. We'll take a baby elephant. Ways to kill enemies that don't involve your weapons are just good on this character, because you will have a somewhat weak weapon set, but lots of stats to make use of them. And then we'll take 6 dodge, and so now if we get 30 dodge, we're just 3 short of... Well, actually, we'll have the adrenaline as well, so we will now have enough dodge to hit dodge cap as soon as we find an ethereal weapon. We'll take the Ratzilla here. I don't need Weird Ghost, because even this jelly is not that necessary. Our HP is already really good, but obviously we do want to increase it. I'll take the Bone Dice, and we can upgrade our Cacti Club to level 2. Cacti Club is a really nice source for weapon tags early for this character, because you get the primitive tag, which you want, obviously, and then the heavy tag, which is somewhat hard to find, usually. I will say the torch is doing more than I would have expected it to, or than... just because we've hung on to it for a little longer, but it does benefit from the elemental tag, so it's getting 5 elemental damage for free, plus all of the melee damage that we bought, and torches scale with melee damage on the initial hit. So the torch is actually a real contributor to our damage output right now. We'll still swap it out. I think it's still the one that we want to give up on first, but worth considering that it's better than it looks. Here, I could take 5 luck, which is basically like a level 1 luck upgrade. I could also just take an armor. I'm just going to take armor. It's so important to increase our armor, because again, we're going to decrease it as soon as an ethereal weapon shows up. We will buy the rat, we'll buy the jelly, we get a reroll here. Okay, well, nuclear launcher. This gives us... So maybe I am keeping the torch and selling out of the Cacti Club here, because that will give us the heavy and explosive tag. This is a little unusual, but we got such a powerful weapon, obviously. So that'll give us the heavy and explosive tag. Keep the elemental tag, which will help scale our nuke launcher damage as well. So pretty powerful there. The lighthouse I'm not going to lock, but we'll lock those other 2 items as well. And one of the things, again, that I really like about playing the Vagabond is you do pivot like that. The character will change what it's doing based on just finding weapons with interesting tag combinations. The rat is really nice. It's benefiting, of course, from the precise weapon tag and the heavy weapon tag, increasing its damage. We don't have Blade, which would also be good, because that would give it lifesteal, and it would give melee damage to the bonk dogs if we found those later on. Yeah, so I think we're selling out of the Cacti Club, and we'll hang on to the torch for the primitive weapon tag. Now the question will be, what will I get rid of when we find an ethereal weapon? And I think the answer is going to be the loot. Loot is pretty good. Oh, yeah, we pet the rat there at the end of the wave. I love the petting animation. It's so good. Let's re-roll this, and yeah, I'll just take 12% damage, and I'll re-roll again and take 12% more damage. A bunch of percent damage is really nice. So we're going to sell out of the Cacti Club and buy the nuke launcher. We'll buy both of these. So I think that we will probably sell out of the loot. The musical and support weapon tags, of course, are economy tags, and we've kind of gotten a lot of the value that we need from these. So I think it's probably the most reasonable one to sell. I will buy all of these. Jelly Shield can help protect us. So I do think that this item is pretty weak in the current iteration. It's just very, very expensive, and what it does isn't that exciting, but I still do want to test it out and see if maybe I'm missing something. I do think they need to take one more stab at balancing that item, though, as it currently stands. 'Cause right now, it's just really expensive for the effect that you get. It's kind of similar to Tardigrade, where it's a very, very expensive Tier 3 defense item, and Tier 3 items you usually don't really want to buy defense with, because you're kind of looking to close out the game at that point. So purely defensive items that are also really expensive inherently suffer in this game. You want to set up your defenses early with cheap items, typically, and with level ups and stuff. Yeah, we'll take some more armor and engineering here. I'm going to take some more move speed. Our move speed is still only 2, so we'll just fix that, and then we'll take 2 more armor. Then we're going to buy out this entire shop, and we'll do a reroll here. Stone Skin, I don't really need, but it is kind of fun. I could buy the charcoal. It gives us melee damage, which we do want. So yeah, let's buy the charcoal. We'll buy the robot arm. I do want more melee damage. Then I think we're rolling past the stone skin. It's just not that exciting. We'll take the barnacle here, though. It feels so good when you go from having negative movement speed to having positive movement speed. Just the amount of freedom that we have to do stuff is so much higher now. Of course, we would have benefited from the small magazine that we passed earlier, because we found a nuke launcher, so we actually do benefit from ranged damage. Small magazine is an item that I don't usually like to ban out, also, just because plenty of times what you need in a run is just any attack speed that you can get. Attack speed is one of the most valuable and hardest to buy stats in the game. And so, even on non-ranged builds, small magazine can still be pretty effective. The nuke launcher is also making this horde wave very, very easy for us, so that's pretty nice. I'll take 3 more regeneration, and then 6 more move speed. We'll buy the barnacle and the robot arm, so that's some good value over time we're going to be getting. We'll take the coffee and lock, helmet, and baby elephant. Also throw in a reroll here, and 20 harvesting, minus 8% damage. Do I want the tractor? I think I can buy the tractor. I am going to ban sunglasses. While crit chance is okay for us, the -1 armor is just such a huge penalty. And several of our weapons don't have full crit multipliers and everything. Plus, I do want to use my bans. Although I guess I should have locked the sunglasses. And then banned after buying the other 3, so we'd have gotten our reroll. I like that we can see the rats over there just slowly chipping down the curse alien, so I don't have to worry about killing it. What I really like about the pets is that they finish the job. When they decide to start attacking an enemy, they keep attacking it. And that's really helpful, because it means that we can just rely on them actually finishing off stuff that they're doing, and not have to run off after them to try to deal more damage. I'll recycle the pencil here. I'll take the claw tree. We'll take the spicy sauce. I will reroll, and we'll take 4 armor. And then we will buy this whole shop, take a reroll here. Okay, so Blade and Medieval. If I take the Vorpal Sword, we get the Blade weapon tag. I could sell out of Spiky Shield, which would cost me Medieval, or no, cost me Blunt. Losing Blunt is pretty bad. It's -3 armor. Blade gives us, of course, 5 melee damage and 5 lifesteal, which is really nice. I think what I might do is sell out of the loot. So we'll lock the Vorpal Sword. Do I want Decomposing Flesh? I guess I'll buy 1 Decomposing Flesh, and then if we see future ones, we can ban them. So I'm locking the Vorpal Sword. I think we'll sell the loot for it, and then we'll try to rearrange our weapon tags to make it feasible to get Ethereal and a bunch of other things. Not finding the Ethereal weapon up to this point is definitely... You would prefer to have found it, but it's not that big a deal. the dodge is really nice, but we have lots of other stats besides, and while we don't have maxed out dodge, we do have more armor. So it's not something that we have to like hard roll for, but it is part of our eventual plan for the character. Having lifesteal will be really nice, of course, since it will work with our pets as well. So the rats will give us lifesteal, and they attack pretty frequently. Yeah, we'll take the helmet, we'll take the tentacle, let's see, this is our level 20 level up. So I could take ranged damage. I could roll for attack speed, which we really want. I think I'll roll here, and I'll take attack speed, armor, or regeneration. And of those, I'll take the 4 armor when it shows up. We will then sell our loot, level our torch, since we're hanging on to that currently, and buy a Vorpal sword for the blade weapon tag, and also just because it's a good item. Jetpack, I don't really need the jetpack, right? Because we're gonna... the dodge we will get from an ethereal weapon if we eventually find one. So let's think about what I want to buy here. I do want to buy the Scar. Baby with a Beard, I think I can pass on. Mastery, we have the nuke launcher that scales with ranged damage, but everything else is melee. And Mastery is pretty efficient, but I think I'm going to ban it and try to get more pets to appear. I'll re-roll here. Okay, we'll lock the ghost outfit. Again, we're still looking for the ethereal weapons. Unarmed, we don't benefit from that much. I'll take a cyber ball. Even with low luck, the random damage can be pretty good. And we'll take a corrupted shard and then re-roll again. I'm not entirely sure about that shopping set. There were a lot of different directions we could have gone in that set of shops, just given the items that we were offered. But I think that this gives us a good mix of current power, because we want to stay strong so we can fight the elite relatively easily, and future opportunity for growth, because of course we want to get strong enough that we can win the end game easily. Also really hoping that we get I was hoping that we got a Vorpal sword proc on the elite here. That would have been helpful for finishing this wave a lot smoother and faster, but we can kill the elite. We'll then take out this loot alien. It did get a buff, which I was really hoping it wouldn't, but on a buffing wave, that's almost always going to happen. And then we were able to finish off the loot alien and the elite before the end of the wave, which is great. Left a lot of materials on the ground, though. I'll take an eye surgery. We do have some burning effects, and if we get 2 of them, it removes another level 2 item from the pool. We'll definitely take wheat, even though the elemental damage is helpful. And then here, I think... Well, I do have a tentacle. Do I want crit chance over percent damage? I think I actually do. Okay, well, we'll take a Cursed Claw here, for sure. We'll buy the Ghost outfit, and... I could mirror the Peacock. I think I'm just going to reroll here. I'm really looking for other stuff. We'll take the Peaceful Bee, lock a Scissors, and lock a Blood Leech. We do need more regeneration. Okay, so Circular Saw gives us Blade and Medical. We already have Precise, so I can then maybe swap out of the Scissors for the Circular Saw here. So let's unlock Scissors, because I think the Circular Saw is going to be better overall. And then once we have the Blade weapon tag from the Circular Saw, we can get rid of the Vorpal sword as well, because we no longer... It now has redundant tags, so then we'll be able to swap that out if we do eventually find the ethereal weapon we've been looking for all game. Because we have Precise from Claw, and since we got a Cursed Claw, we're definitely hanging on to the Claw. It's 2 good weapon tags, and it's a a powerful cursed weapon for us. And we're going to have blade and medical from the circular saw, so we can, again, rearrange our weapons to make optimal use of the ones that we found. Let's roll here. We'll take 5 engineering, and then I'm going to roll again and take... Or 5 regeneration, not engineering. And take 2... Ooh, the naval and gun tags are also interesting. Naval is 5 curse. Gun, giving us range, isn't bad. And the harpoon gun does scale with our melee damage as well as our ranged damage. Okay, so we're selling the scissors for the circular saw. I now have both of the tags from the Vorpal sword. So let's actually sell the Vorpal sword and buy the harpoon gun. And now we've got the full benefits of medieval and blunt, heavy and explosive, primitive and elemental, unarmed and precise, blade and medical, and naval and gun. So we're benefiting from the full power of 12 different weapon categories. At this point, I actually might not swap out for an ethereal weapon. I might just keep this weapon set, and we can just get to 70 dodge the natural way. We'll buy the whistle. I'm going to ban incendiary turret. I'm not really I'm not doing that, really. And then we'll lock the handcuffs as well, because these stats help all of our weapons quite a bit. And this is another one where it's just really fun to play with the Vagabond, because you end up with these weird weapon sets that you wouldn't normally consider, and you often are going to end up changing out your weapons for completely different things based on what shows up. Now, in this particular case, the nuke launcher is doing the vast majority of our damage, I imagine. But that's okay. The other weapons are there to do supporting damage and provide us with tons of free stat bonuses. Alright, we did get one cursed mini-boss spawning, so I do need to be a little bit careful of that guy. I'm going to run around here and we'll clear these curse aliens as much as we can, though. Wanted to go in the center there and pick up at least some of those materials, because we're leaving a lot on the ground. And you can see we're starting to fall a little bit behind in terms of material pickups when playing this character. That's always going to happen when you're playing the... do I want the bonus engineering from Strange Book? I guess I have Pocket Factory, so yeah, I'll take the Strange Book here just for fun. The income is always going to look a little bit weaker when you're playing the Vagabond, because you can't use harvesting as easily, so you're just going to have less money than most other characters. But because we're getting so many free stat, and also we're going to be spending more money on weapons, because we're going to be swapping our weapons, we might have to sell to upgrade instead of being able to just do weapon combinations, since we always have 6 different weapons. But we're getting so many free stats from our items that having lower material income doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm very curious what the damage numbers are in these waves as well. I'll check that in a second. Getting curse alien kills. And we'll try to kill this tree as well. Yeah, we'll definitely take an anvil. That's a great way to upgrade our weapons, which is something that we can sometimes struggle with on this character. I'll take 2 armor here. No, I'm going to reroll. You usually want to find a level 3 upgrade when you have Barnacle, because that's when it starts really benefiting you. And then let's take 10 melee damage, because I do want to kill the bosses a little bit faster than we would otherwise. Alright, we can finally buy the Blood Leech and get that out of the pool. I'm also just going to ban the Lucky Charm for a free reroll, because we haven't used our rerolls. And like I talked about, so we finally got an ethereal weapon. I could buy 30 dodge by buying the ethereal weapon. What would I sell for that? So if I'm not selling Claw, because it's cursed, it gives us 2 of our best weapon tags. I'm obviously not selling Nuke Launcher. We could sell out of the primitive weapon tag, because we're way over our HP cap now, and elemental doesn't matter that much. So I think I will actually swap the torch out for the ghost flint at this point. I wasn't planning to do that, but because we found... we capped our HP and everything, it's just going to be better to do it that way, I think. I'll also lock this fertilizer. We can ban it for a free reroll, and again, get a little bit of ban value, since we haven't used all our bans. So, because my HP is capped at 58, the primitive weapon tag is a little wasted. The elemental weapon tag is still useful, but I think 5 elemental damage is less useful than 30 dodge at this point, so we'll definitely make that trade. Just gonna make us much safer against the bosses. And this character will have a slightly slow kill against the bosses. We didn't find as many pets as I was hoping for, though the rats are doing good work. Even with our health cap. I assume that they benefit... I guess it will cost them damage, because I assume that their damage scaling is based off of our total health, not our... not the capped value, like most things that scale off of health. So we can now buy... so we can sell the torch. Unfortunately, it did eat the anvil buff, so I was a little afraid that that would happen, but nothing you can do about that. So we're selling torch. We now have 70% dodge, which is great. Let's go ahead and just throw in another ban here, because we're going to wave 19, so I might as well just use my bans. Gobbler's Hat, unfortunately, we will not benefit from the Gobbler's Hat because we're just going into the boss fight. So let's do a reroll here. Blunt and heavy on the hammer doesn't do that much, so I'm just going to do a couple more rolls. I was looking, again, for more pets there, but obviously the silver bullet's going to be great. Yeah, so we're down to 48 HP because the primitive weapon tag was giving us so much of our max health, but we should pick up a little bit more. Wait, where did I get that max health from? Oh, right, I have empty stomach. I've been completely forgetting that we have that. I was wondering where all of that maximum health was, those max health pop-ups were coming from, but of course with the empty stomach, we're gonna pick up extra maximum HP pretty quickly. Trying to stay full health at the end of the wave so that when we pull in those consumables, we do get the max HP from them. And then we'll take some attack speed here. 81 range, actually, I think could be pretty helpful going against the bosses, so I will take 81 range. And then we'll buy Silver Bullet. I'll buy the Jelly just to get us over our HP cap. We'll buy Whetstone, and we'll roll here. Do I want Banner? I could also roll for something else. I think Banner's going to be better than most other things that we find. And then let's just ban the recycling machine, so we've used all our bans. Of course, our Anvil upgraded only our non-cursed weapons, which is pretty funny. But let's go to wave 20 and see if us and the rats can take down these bosses here. So I do want to stay near the bosses. And you can see that the Jelly Shield is helping somewhat, but it's not... certainly not as good when you only have one of them. And it cost us 100. So I just don't think that the Jelly Shield is in a good spot right now in terms of balance. The more I'm playing with the item, because obviously my on-paper evaluations can always be wrong. You have to test things to see if you're right about them. Even if you have played the game a lot and generally have good intuition, which I think is true. But the more I play with that item, the less impressed I am with it at its current price point. I think that it was over-nerfed. Alright, let's look at our items here. So, we did, in this wave, we dealt 14k with the nuke launcher, and then the claw actually dealt 21k, 17 with the harpoon gun. But when we were fighting bosses, our weapons, yeah, the nuke launcher actually didn't do most of our damage. Our other weapons did. Really interesting result there. Not what I was expecting. And in fact, the harpoon gun, because we have ranged and melee damage, and it scales with 100% of both. I guess we had 70 melee damage, so our melee weapons are getting a huge boost here. But the harpoon gun was a real powerhouse for us. We had triple scar, triple jelly, great items for the Vagabond, of course. The baby elephants were bad, and the cyberball was bad. With 50% luck penalties, maybe these were too ambitious to buy, so I probably shouldn't have bought those. Bone Dice slightly overperformed. 40k damage from our rats, but they dealt just a lot of overall damage and killed a lot of stuff. You saw a couple times where they killed a loot alien or a curse alien that we'd have had to go out of our way to kill. So I really think that these items are better than the numbers suggest and are generally speaking very strong. Treasure map for 3 items. We had, what else? Only 5k on spicy sauce, but mostly we got that for the HP. We've got 65 healing from Tentacle, very nice there, because we had quite a bit of crit chance thanks to our precise weapon tag. 18 extra health from the extra stomach, and Anvil gave us a few weapon upgrades. We ended up with 40 engineering as well, which is kind of fun. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this look at the Vagabond. We only got a couple rats, but even then, the rats were very helpful. So I do think that even when you're not really, like, focusing hard on pets or when you don't find them, the addition of them to a lot of this type of character just makes the run quite a bit smoother. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.